the old tram stop. The Broadmarsh Centre in Nottingham is getting knocked down. Let's explore it before it's too late. Green man. So I'm outside the Broadmarsh Centre, and here are some nice old Mellor traffic lights. It's the oldest design of traffic light you can find in the UK on public roads. 70s traffic lights. They're quite rare nowadays. And this traffic line fits in with the Mellor design, like the 70s sign. So I'm on Carrington Street, outside the Arndale car park. The Arndale car park serves the Broadmarsh Centre, and definitely from the south side, the Broadmarsh Centre looks very ugly. And this is one of the main reasons why they're pulling it down, because it kind of acts as a division between the station area and the rest of the city, which is not very nice. And so we're just south of the shopping centre. And this wall is kind of why they're knocking it down, because it's very ugly, and it kind of divides the north and south of the city. But the main part I like is when you go inside the Broadmarsh Centre, because it's really quirky. They've got really low ceilings, and just note on the history of the place, because basically when they were building it, they discovered some caves that had been used as tanneries, and so to accommodate them with that, so the original plan would involve destroying the caves, but after protests that they were a historical artifact, they changed their mind and instead built the shopping centre with really low ceilings. And it's rather strange how low the ceilings are. It just makes us quirky, and also the escalators are narrow. To an old sprinkler alarm. To the Broadmarsh Centre. I think it's a really quirky shopping centre. This isn't a good sign. I hope they haven't closed off the rest of the centre. Basically, this is just a bit taller than the typical ceiling height for a shopping centre, but it's double the height of most of the ceilings in the Broadmarsh. And the Broadmarsh Centre in a way is a bit like going back in time to the 1970s. Like there you've got Argos with its old signs. You don't find many of those anymore. So it's like going back in time to the 1970s. And oh no! They've closed part of the upper mall. If you look there, those are the really narrow escalators that I quite like. If you look at them, they've been boxed in. These are their plans. And the layout's not changing that much, but it appears that sadly it's going to lose the low ceilings that make this quite a quirky shopping centre. It's like, and also it's narrow, and they're making it wider, and I like how it feels like so quirky. Like it's like a miniature shopping centre, this, and it's like sadly they seem to be losing that, and also fake historic architecture. If you're going to do historic architecture, you might as well do it properly. And also they're going to do it similar. I can imagine the centre like the Victoria Centre. Now they've renovated the Victoria Centre, and it now is full of these really bright orange and white lights, which are really horrible. So this is a film, and I hope that they have narrow escalators when they rebuild it, because I think the charm of the Broadmarsh Centre is like that it feels miniature. So I like how it has low ceilings, narrow walkways and narrow escalators. It makes it feel sort of miniature. And I think that's the charm of it. This sort of miniature feeling. And this is all part of the upper level that was public that they're redeveloping. The central escalators, which are Otis escalators. These escalators have been, I'm sure they were narrow before. They might have been modernised to make them wider, but they're still relatively narrow for an escalator. At least the ones I'm used to. So this is the sort of atrium area. And a lot of the shops have closed down and been covered by these hoardings. Behind these hoardings are all these closed shops, and what's weird is that it seems to be busier than usual for a Sunday, even though most of the shops look like they're closed. And through here is the unmodernised Otis, and I'm really hoping that it's still unmodernised and it's still unmodernised. And so this is the entrance to the Caves exhibition. Basically they had to build the shopping centre with lower ceilings than normal because basically they were going to have higher ceilings, but they discovered the caves, and what their original plan was to destroy the caves, but then what they did was they decided to have a 3-storey arrangement in which the ceilings would be lower, but basically so there'll be an underground level with the caves and then 2 shopping centre levels. So then, let's go on these escalators. Still got these 70s Otis, the 70s Otis branding, the original. They've got these barriers. You can slide down these barriers, but they sort of disapprove of that. And a lot slower than I usually go up an escalator. So they're putting in some new shops here, and this is the entrance of the escalators. And so let's film the Otis modernised by Schindler. While I was here, I got stopped by security twice. The first time the security guard was at first a bit suspicious. Then when I told him I was filming for posterity, he was nice and polite to me. The second time was just inside the middle pavement entrance, and the security guard was aggressive, and the way he was talking was like he was implying that it was his part of the shopping centre which he owned and he got to make the rules for. I did still manage to sneak in an artistic photo of the staff-only area. This is an Otis. It's modernised by Schindler with Dewhurst. This one button, actually an alarm button, which is rather silly. This is this. Now let's go film the 60s Otis with its original buttons. This is button. It's a 60s Otis hydraulic with original buttons. Click V key. This is quite a tall thing. Can't be a logic cabinet if there's no keyhole or anything. It's a threshold. Sadly the logic has been replaced, but apart from that it's still original. Doesn't do anything, it's just for less than 3 seconds. Nice old control panel. And this thing's upside down. Now it's the Keighley hydraulics in the middle of the centre. This is it arriving. Doesn't level very nicely, levels slowly, and a bit rough. This thing's got idiots in it.
Doors closing.
Flashing strobe, I don't like that. original panel, new panel.
Doors opening. Level 1.
This 2 button doesn't work still. Takes ages to close the doors. This lift.
Doors closing.
It's already changed to 2.
Doors opening. Level 2.
Now let's go across the footbridge into the Arndale car park. There's this really weird corridor which feels more like a service corridor going into the car park. It's a really strange shape that goes downstairs. And this is outside. This kind of outside garden area. I don't know why. Why is there another side to the... That's the view from that side of the bridge. And on this side, there is... I think this is the service passage. A rather quirky shopping centre.
Like they photoshopped him in. They photoshopped.
Then you get this, which on this side, it's been completely boxed in. And I mean, that's so strange. Why would you do that? And now over to the awesome, now to these are modernised Otises, but they haven't got VS. They've still got a 3-speed gearbox, and the sound they make is epic. Reiki. Sounds epic. Modernisation control panel. That's supposed to be 2. 1. Ground. I think there might be a problem with the logic that sent me to the 4th floor. So I wanted to go to 5, that some wheels come out of alignment. Because I just used lots of wheels. And this lift sounds epic. Just take a listen to this. It's a 3-speed gearbox. Still quite old-fashioned technology. That's the levelling gear. So like gear 1 is like a levelling gear. Then you have gear 2 and gear 3. So it goes. So when it starts up, it goes 0, 2, 3, which is full speed. Then 2, then 1, which goes then 0. Some of them seem to be louder than others. walls. Sounds epic. And I know it's sad that this car park's getting demolished next month. This is probably my last time hearing these lifts in real life. I think these are the most awesome lift motor noise in the world. It seems that this one on the right is quieter than the other two. I don't want that one, that's the quietest one, I want the loud one. Let's make a proper record. The other lifts are less busy. But sort of it makes it feel even more like going back in time. is having a Wimpy. Because Wimpy used to be really big until relatively recently. And so it makes it even more like going back in time. They've got this ceiling design part of the design. It's really even older. And those look like, are they light brackets? Because I mean, Bohemia Bagel used to have light brackets that look like that, and this is the design. Let's take a look around here. I don't want to go too far. There's an old Otis. This looks exactly like the control panel in the... It's got an on-off switch inside of this. It's exactly like the control panel in... It's got... This is like the lift at the express lift in Northampton. And that's the... Please wear high vis at all times. This looks like the control panel in Camberley Army and Navy. That lift was made in the 40s, intermediate level. This is lower level. Original single speed. Apart from those LEDs, those aren't original. I wonder, Mr. Matt and Mr. wanted that once LEDs are installed, all interest goes. Well, this is LEDs, but everything else is still original, so would he like this lift? That safety connector's not original, being replaced with Dewhurst. This is staff only loading bay. This lift next to it, which is hydraulic. I hope I haven't got any of the salt or the vinegar from my chips on my camera lens. Because it's alkaline, it can damage it. Motor's been replaced, but apart from that, it's original. This button turns round. Doesn't screw. That's the motor room. This is from the motor room, just some stuff. I can't hear the motor because the music's too loud. Outside the car park, there's this really steep slope, which as you can see I'm walking on because the material it's made out of It's really, it's actually incredibly whippy. Such a good grip. So rough that I can walk on it, even though it's really steep. So more metal traffic lights. These traffic lights are probably around 40 years old. It's like Nottingham still has all of its original 70s metal traffic lights. Well, not original, but you get the point. Like, still has traffic lights that are 40 years old.